Okay, for this project, you're going to need some supplies. You'll need a pillow cover, 3mm craft foam, chipboard, acrylic or fabric paint, mounting adhesive, and whatever embellishments you want. Now, I went ahead and created a file for you. You can download that and then use Brother's Canvas Workspace to be able to send that over to your machine so you can get started creating the stamp to make this project. Okay, so for this project, you're gonna need a pillow case, and this has a zipper on the inside. This one's 18 by 18 inches, I believe. And so this right down the middle is where we're gonna put our word thankful. So we first have to cut that out. Now I took a piece of fun foam from the craft store and cut it to 12 by 12, but originally it's 12 by 18. You can also get smaller sheets too. So just get whatever you need. And I am using a fabric support sheet to be able to cut this out. Because this is kind of slick, it might not stick well to a mat that, especially if it's been used, it needs a little bit more grip. So this extra sheet that you put down on here, it makes it super sticky, and it's obviously great for fabric, but it should be great for this too. Now this fun foam is about 3 millimeters thick. So it's a nice thick one to be able to make a stamp with. So I'm just putting it onto my mat, and you can see it sticks really well. So that's exactly what we need. And then I'm going to first turn on my machine. That would always be helpful, right? Okay, so now we're ready to load this in, and you just want to butt up your mat between those two little guides and hit the mat button, and it will load in. Now you saw I already sent my design over to my ScanNCut. I'm just going to move this out a little bit. And so I'm going to click retrieve data, and we're sending it from the computer. So I'm going to choose that option. You might be using a different method to be able to get your design to your machine, and that's totally fine too. So there we have our design, and now we can click OK, and then select. We're going to pick cut. Okay, so right now I have my half cut on. Seems like I'm always cutting vinyl in between projects. So I need to go ahead and turn that off real quick. So if you just scroll down to half cut, make sure it's off and click OK. Then everything should be right. It tells you about how long it'll take, the pressure we're using the auto blade for. So you'll hear that at the beginning. It will drill down and see how thick this is and adjust accordingly. And then I have my speed pretty fast at 7, and of course my half cut's off. So if you have never cut fun foam before, you might want to do a test first, and that's completely fine. You can always change your settings from there. I'm just going to hit start. Now if you do have any problems with this, if something gets stuck or whatever, you can always hit that pause button and it'll stop cutting. Okay, it says it's finished cutting. Before I remove this from my mat though, I'm just going to take a peek and make sure it cut all the way through. And it did, so perfect. I'm just going to remove this right here. I'm just going to carefully try to remove that. So I'm going to take my mat out of my machine. Actually need this spatula, and just going to be very careful. I don't want to distort any of our stamp that we made. So when I did end up cutting through my fabric support sheet, which that's okay, I can use another one next time, so I'll pull that off of here. Okay, so I have my word cut out. I have a piece of chipboard, and now I'm going to mount this on here. And remember, you kind of need to think through it. You need to have your adhesive on this side to mount it, so that when you put your paint on here and print it onto your pillowcase, it is facing the right direction, okay? So go ahead and put adhesive on the front side of your word, and then mount it to your chipboard. Okay, so we're ready to move on to stamping this on there. I have some colors of acrylic paint already put out. You could of course use fabric paint for this, but I decided not to because this isn't something that anyone's gonna wear or, you know, get washed a bunch of times or anything like that. Now I am gonna take some chipboard pieces that I have and put them inside so that this paint does not bleed through. So make sure you do that, that you protect it, or else you might have a mess on the back side of your pillow. So I didn't have any big pieces, but I have 2 smaller pieces to use for that. Okay, so make sure that's protected in the area that you're printing. Have your stamp ready and get an idea of, you know, where the middle of this is, where you want to have it, so that you can stamp with that. Now, you do need to work kind of quickly with acrylic paint because it will dry. So I'm going to do that. I might need to layer it on. I might even need to stamp it and then try to re-stamp it or fill in with a brush. We'll see how well it goes, but if it gets too dry, then it's going to not print well. So you can even add a couple drops of water if you need to. Just remember that the wetter it is, the more likely it will soak through your fabric. Okay, so I'm watering down that mustardy color. Okay, so I let this dry, and I think I am going to do some little embroidery around the letters, and that'll just make them, you know, pop a little something extra special. And then on top of that, I'm also going to add some of this fringe that I found in the craft store, and I'm just going to use fabric glue to glue this all around my edges of my pillow to, you know, make it a little more special. So add whatever embellishments you want, but you are ready to go ahead and, you know, take the cardboard that you had inside, or the chipboard, take that out, and then get your pillow stuffed with a pillow insert, and you're finished.
For more information about ScanNCut, go to ScanNCut.com. And for more ideas and inspiration, visit erinbassett.com.